Today we have a crazy chapter from JJK, so let's get right into it. We have the chapter beginning with Sukuna and Yutaro opening their domains, and Sukuna's basically successfully manages to reduce the size of the unlimited void to the size of a basketball, just like Gojo. And I'm gonna be honest with you, bro, it's gonna be a pattern in this chapter because Yuta kind of steals Gojo's bag slightly. The narrator tells us that the solution Gojo created for Sukuna's open barrier domain was to make a small barrier domain which can withstand the effect of Malevolent Shrine for approximately 3 minutes. This is basically the whole crux of the battle. It's 3 minutes, and in these 3 minutes, a lot has to happen. We basically get it from Yuta and Sukuna themselves. Yuta straight up says like, yo, taking Sukuna's fatigue into consideration, it's possible for me to withstand Sukuna's domain for 3 minutes just like Gojo was able to do. I have a video with Blaziken coming out soon, so y'all should definitely check it out. But in that video, I kind of had a argument or just curiosity, you know what I'm saying, talking about Yuta and the Yuta Gojo, let's call it a concoction that is, currently existing. And I thought, what if he was stronger than Gojo just for the fact that he has Gojo's body plus his own abilities and things like that? I lie, that's been proven false right off the bat. It was a pretty interesting thing with that, but it's pretty clear that Sukuna's been injured and tired, but that was Gojo's win con. So Yuta's basically copying Gojo's win con to win again, or to win. The narrator basically points out that Sukuna's effective curse technique range has decreased to the point that it's just able to surround Yuta's barrier, and it eliminated Malevolent Shrine's 99-second time limit. Before the fight, Yuta and Gojo swap souls in order to train and improve Yuta's barrier techniques, which to me means it's kind of insane. I'm not entirely sure I mess with how they treat Gojo retrospectively with how JJK kind of has wrote it since Gojo has died. It's felt a lot like Gojo was entering these battles prepared to die, like he knew he was going to lose, which, I mean, based off looking at Gojo's character, it never felt like that. And I think him doing this doesn't even mean that he thought he was going to lose, but it has been interesting that Gojo's done a lot of things that were preparing, like, if I do lose, you could do this, you could do this, you could do this, which I guess that makes sense. I mean, Gojo's the strongest, but he's also like one of the smartest, right? So it is interesting because even with all the things that Yuta had, this must have been like the last opportunity we had, the last chance to beat Sukuna, because Yuta was not looking this clean even like 10 chapters ago. So back to the fight at hand, and Yuta straight up says like, okay, in under 3 minutes, I'll damage Sukuna to the point that he won't be able to maintain his Malevolent Shrine. And conversely, we have Sukuna on the other side being like, okay, I'll destroy Infinite Void in under 3 minutes and then expand my domain and everyone dies. So it's quite literally like I was saying earlier in the video, it is a race for those 3 minutes. If Yuta can damage Sukuna enough to deactivate the Malevolent Shrine in the 3 minutes, we win. If Sukuna can destroy Infinite Void in 3 minutes, we lose. Like, it is quite literally that simple. Yuta slides into Sukuna and uses blue to punch him, but Sukuna reduces the distance by running up on him and smacks him. And the way that he is able to smack him is low-key insane, because he wraps his amputated arm to hold Yuta and then land the punch. And Yuta straight up wonders like, yo, how was he able to really smack on me? Yuta basically comes to find out that Sukuna is able to do a domain expansion and a domain amplification at the same time. And that's what enabled him to bypass infinity. We knew that, Sukuna knew that, but Yuta didn't know that, which tells Sukuna one thing. These sorcerers, they can't share information about what's happening inside the domain through Mei's crows, because if they could, then Yuta should have known that Sukuna could do those things, because that's what Sukuna did against Gojo, which I'm gonna be very honest, is scary, or like that's very, like, I'm very, very worried for Yuta, because if Sukuna knows something like that, and Sukuna's out here grinning, because he started grinning, which is crazy. If Sukuna has that stuff in his back pocket, he's thinking like, okay, yeah, these guys are, yeah, I'm putting you guys in the dirt. So it's going to get really bad. And we get basically, the scene kind of switches where we see a fully realized or fully manifested Rika crying and holding a lifeless body of Yuta. So this is obviously the flashback when Yuta was cut in half. And the chapter ends with the editor's note being, Rika has fully manifested ... but. So I'm not gonna lie, this is probably one of the smallest chapters of JJK I've ever read. So it definitely surprised me how short it was, but shout out Gege, you know what I'm saying? Gege, I think he's sick, so that's why he's taking a 2-week break. So, get well soon, Gege. But just looking at the chapter overall, it's, I don't know, it's just like, it feels kind of not repetitive, but it feels like every time Sukuna runs up on a new opponent and we're thinking, okay, well, this guy might be able to beat Sukuna because they're doing this, and this, and they have this new technique, or they're doing this that might counter Sukuna in some way. Sukuna just adapts to it like he's Maharaga or something, and then he just straight up defeats them, and it's like, who's the next challenger? And you know, Yuji's just watching or some shit. Yuji's just always around for some ungodly reason. And you telling me a Yuta who's improved barrier techniques, it looks like can approach, I'm gonna say approach because I'm not gonna be disrespectful to Satoru, but can approach Gojo as long as he's in Gojo's body, and Sukuna's still not worried. It's like, bro, what more do we have to do? Like, at this point in time, Sukuna has gone through like 10 straight battles. Sukuna has not even had enough break time to drink a sip of water in this time that he's fought like 10 people back to back to back. He's been hit with like countless black flashes from Yuji. Yuji's literally hitting him with soul-splitting attacks that are supposed to weaken him every single time. He's been hit with the domain expansion from Yuta. Maki slid on him and stabbed him with the soul-splitting katana. Toji was there for a little bit hitting him. We had Miguel. Sukuna has been hit with everything in the book since Gojo died, even including Gojo. We've hit him with every single thing we have, and this nigga is still standing. So it's really nasty work. And even with this chapter, I'm not like slandering Yotaro, you know what I'm saying? I think the name is really funny and unique. I don't know who called him that, but like, there's nothing wrong with Yotaro. It's just like, he was our only hope. Like, I was thinking Yotaro was going to be one of the most powerful characters in Jujutsu Kaisen, as in like, he was going to be able to be at least push Sukuna past his limits. And the chapter obviously it's pretty short, and we haven't really seen the full capacity of the fight, but as of right now, how it's looking like Sukuna's going to be decent. So I don't know how that's going to kind of end up and stuff, but I do think the ending chapter with the whole thing with Rika and her, she manifested, but I think that has something to do with it because they wouldn't censor for no reason. I mean, honestly, it could be a thing where Rika is like dead because Yuta did die, or Yuta was kind of lifeless or something, but I don't know. That doesn't actually make a lot of sense because Yuta's still here, and I think he still has cursed technique, so that wouldn't really make sense. Maybe Yotaro can like have a fully realized Rika form. Like, imagine if Yuji can manifest Rika's full ability while in the body of Gojo. Somehow I feel like even that wouldn't be enough to beat Sukuna because he's literally the strongest, and it hurts my heart to say that, I cannot lie, because the strongest used to be held down by that the white hair guy, you know what I'm saying? Shout out Satoru. But I don't know what it's gonna take to beat Sukuna, and I don't know what Yuji's doing. Yuji just MIA. I'm assuming he's still kind of chilling and stuff, but I think he's really, really far away from the battle and stuff. But if Yuji comes and slide through, I've always thought Yuji and Yuta tag team with Sukuna would be a pretty interesting dynamic, a pretty interesting fight. I think that we might have to see that, you know what I'm saying? That could be the way to go with how they end up doing it, but I don't know. Let me know what you guys' thoughts down below, because there's a lot of ways Gege can go with this. Obviously, Gege get well soon for sure. Let me know what you guys think about the chapter overall. How do you think Sukuna's getting beaten? How do you think Yotaro, did you enjoy his showings and things like that? It was a really, really short chapter, but just looking at the whole battle and that kind of thing, what do you guys think about that? I'm out, so peace.